very good morning from Rhigos Viewpoint here in the Rhonda Valley just south of the Brecon Beacons National Park. That is where we are heading today, but last night I stayed in the small town of Treorchy, a little place called the Cardiff Arms Bistro, very modern. I got up this morning nice and early to fly the drone across the town. It was incredible to see the clouds and mist covering the top of some of the mountains that surround the town itself. My ambition in this video is to visit some of the hiking trails, lakes and waterfalls that the Brecon Beacons has to offer. It's going to be one of those picturesque rides, I think. I've only been on the road 10 minutes and I've stopped at this magnificent place. I can see the valley down below me, the Brecon Beacons in the distance. Looks like there's a reservoir over here to my left-hand side, and you can see the road just winding down the mountainside, heading north, and that is exactly where I'm going. So I'm going to join the road, get to it, and we'll see what we can find. I managed to park in the official car park, which is free of charge. However, there's an overspill car park and camping ground next door, and they charge £5. The other day I was at a waterfall and I thought that I had been to it before, but now I'm here. This is the one I've actually visited a couple of years ago, and I remember it because you go down one side of the gorge, over a bridge, and then along the other side to see the waterfall itself. Here's the bridge I remembered, and as I cross it, let me tell you that there is actually 4 waterfalls on this trail. I'm only going to do one of them, which is the largest, but the other waterfalls can be reached by following a trail that takes about 2 to 3 hours to complete. We are getting to some steep steps here. There we go, Henrhyd Waterfall. It is the highest waterfall in South Wales, 90 feet, and from what I can see, people are walking behind it, so I'm thinking I'm going to give it a try. To do it though, you've got to follow this little track here and not slip in. That is the art to it. Here we go, we're getting a little bit wet. And we're behind it. What a spectacular waterfall. It is always good to get up close to them, to hear that sound of the crashing water. Absolutely unbelievable. So if you are interested in waterfalls, if you like seeing them and you have a bit more time, then you can follow this whole trail, which actually lasts about 2 to 3 hours. It takes you up the river, and as you're going, you pass mills and farms, and you also see another 3 waterfalls. So definitely worth doing if you get the chance. However, it is just starting to rain slightly, so I think what I'm going to do now is head back up the trail, head back to the car. It only took me about 10 minutes to walk to the waterfall, 10 minutes to walk back. So I'm going to get on the road and we're going to head for some hiking trails and lakes.
I'm a traveling spirit, I've seen many shores, from the West Pacific to the island of Kenya. They treat me like a son anywhere I go, and even though no one can tell, I still feel that I'm alone. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm alone. Leave me stranded, I know how to handle it can't carry this load. It's a train where I'm the only passenger on board. Oh, there is beauty to enjoy on this road, but even so, I still feel that I'm alone. I'm alone. I'm alone. I'm alone. Leave me stranded, I know how to handle it all on my own. I'm alone. I'm alone. I'm alone. Leave me stranded, I know how to handle it all on my own. On my own.
What a journey! Some amazing roads here in the Brecon Beacons. Hopefully you enjoyed that little montage of some of the roads that I drove through, some of the places that I visited this morning. The wind is now getting up a little bit, but I am at the trailhead that should take me past 2 lakes if I have enough time to do it. The All Trails app is saying that it's going to take on average 5 to 6 hours. It is a 10-mile, 16-kilometre hike with quite a lot of elevation gain, so it's going to be a tough one. It's 1:30 at the moment. I have about an hour's drive to get to my guest house tonight, and the check-in at its latest is 8 p.m, so it is going to be fairly tight to make it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to see how far I get. Looks like a really picturesque area. Another great adventure in the Brecon Beacons. Let's get to it. To get to the car park, I had to drive down a little single track road for 10-15 minutes. Turned into a gravelly, mud, unpaved road. Got a bit worried at that point, but before long I saw the car park. Fairly small, probably space for about 20 cars, but I noticed that even though it was full, cars were lining up along the grass verge, and so I joined them. There was a crazy little abandoned, what looked like a miniature church right by the rocky river, and it's that rocky river that I followed up towards where I am now, which is about 25 minutes into the walk. Just a little way back, I passed what looked like an old stone mill using the water. Historically, I would imagine it was part of industrial Wales, and the water would drive the mill and aid with all kinds of manufacturing. It's a really interesting place, actually. Anyway, I continued following the pathway up alongside the river, absolutely gorgeous in places, and I think I have now arrived at the first lake. It is just starting to rain a little, so handy having this here just in case it pelts it down all of a sudden. It's a little dam or spill area. I think that's to do with the lake that's behind it, so we'll check that out in just a moment. First of all, what have we got in here? Oh yeah, it's just like a little halfway house. Fireplace in the corner, there's a few benches, probably a place for camping. Do not enter the water. The reservoir contains hidden machinery and deadly currents. And this is officially a rescue shelter. Yes, indeed, we have found lake number 1. There we go, I'm going to turn the camera around. There's some steps going up to this little viewing platform. And take a look at that. Lake number 1 in all of its glory. What a magnificent part of Wales this is. Green hills and mountains, the banks, I can see sheep on them, and the water looks so inviting if it wasn't so cold, but as that sign said back there, machinery and all kinds of stuff in there, so you don't go swimming. Anyway, the hike that I am looking to do, believe it or not, is going to potentially take me up onto that ridge, and then essentially you follow the ridge all the way around, so you get some magnificent views over the lake, and then you head off in that direction where I believe there is a second lake. I definitely have the will to do it, but the question is, do I have the energy? My legs are already starting to tell me that they've had enough hiking for the last couple of days. I mean, I yesterday hiked to the peak of Penny Fan, the highest summit in the Brecon Beacons and South Wales, and then in the afternoon I did the magnificent 4 waterfalls hike. And then this morning, as you've seen in this video, I found the largest waterfall in South Wales. And there was a bit of a hike to that as well, up and down some steps. So I definitely want to do it, but it is a long way. So I was planning to go for it. I'm a little way up the hill, you can see the lake behind me there, but the wind is just brutal at the moment. It is really hitting me and it's almost pushing me off my feet at times. I may have to rethink this. That ridgeway is a long way up, but I can see people up there, so it doesn't look too much of a problem. The other option I've got is just to go back to this lake and then follow it round to the second lake at a lower elevation and just accept that I'm not going to get the views today, but we'll see. I've got a decision to make. I just passed that group of hikers. It settled down for a second, but they just said that it's crazy windy at the top there, pretty dangerous in fact, and also there is very little visibility once you get to the top of the ridge. Oh, there we go. So I think what I'm going to do is call it a day with this direction, which means that if I can stand up here, I'm going to take a few photos of the lake while I'm up here, and then I'm going to head back down. Any hope that I had that the weather might improve during the afternoon, I'm afraid has completely gone. I'm sitting at a viewpoint overlooking, well, all I can see is just this faint outline of distant farms and fields blanketed by the fog and rain and mist. I may be in the Brecon Beacons of Wales, but I might as well be in the middle of nowhere. If you ask me to pinpoint my location on a map, I wouldn't have a clue. I have just been driving around, checking out some of these little roads and seeing what's about. Anyhow, I am going to head off now. It is time that I got on the road heading towards my B&B, which is about an hour's drive away. It's 6 p.m. I've got until 8 p.m. to check in. And as I leave you, I'll step out of the car into the wind and rain. It is blowing a mini hurricane out here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you wherever that road takes me.